this is Brown. If you're new here, make sure you hit that follow button and turn on the little bell icon so you don't miss any videos. Today you're in my bathroom because we're gonna be going over how you wash a human hair wig. Now, if you're like me, when I was a new wig wearer, the idea of having to wash my really expensive human hair wig was completely overwhelming. I was so nervous that I was gonna do something wrong, ruin my wig, or wouldn't be able to get it back to how it looked whenever I originally got it. So today we're gonna go really in depth. We're gonna talk about every little step of how you wash a human hair wig. I have several here, from irregular wefted and hand-tied wigs to even some hat fall wigs, and we're gonna wash them all today. So before we get started, you're gonna need to grab a few items just to be sure you're well stocked before we wash a wig. You're gonna want a comb like this just to detangle. I like to have a towel to dry my wig off after I'm done. I'll use a travel wig stand to store my wig on while it air dries. It offers really good ventilation. And then the most important product is gonna be your shampoo and conditioner. Now, I get asked all the time, Jen, what is the best shampoo and conditioner for human hair wigs? And my answer varies. I use different products based on which wig I'm washing and what I feel like that wig is needing in the moment. And I know that's probably not the answer you want to hear, and I'll share the products I'm using today on these wigs. But really what you want to look for is a good salon quality hydrating shampoo. So right now I'm really loving the Detangling line. I'm also loving the JVN Hair Hydrating line. I've used No. 4 Hair Care before. I've used Redken All Soft before. There's so many different lines of shampoo that you can use for human hair wigs. And depending on who you ask, they're gonna give you a different answer on what they use. Your biggest important factor whenever you're washing a human hair wig is you want to reach for something that's hydrating. So a salon quality product that's hydrating for the hair. So when we think of human hair wigs, they aren't having the natural oils from our scalp to hydrate them all day long, like someone's own natural bio hair would. So our human hair wigs are gonna need a lot of added hydration to keep them looking their best. So whatever shampoo you get, make sure it's a hydrating line, a hydrating shampoo, and a hydrating conditioner. So let's talk about how you know it's time to wash a wig. So if it's your natural hair, you're probably washing it every single time you take a shower. But human hair wigs, since they don't have those natural oils from our head getting them greasy, they don't need washed as often. And this might surprise you, but the average time between washes for human hair wig is anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 weeks, depending on how often you wear it and what your lifestyle is like wearing your piece. So this wig right here is a great example that it's time to wash this wig. I've been wearing this wig a lot. This is a hat fall wig, meaning you're meant to wear it under a hat. And you can tell this wig is looking really, really frizzy. It's not looking great. It's very piecey like this. And when I feel it, I can tell it has a lot of buildup of just the environment, you know, oils from my hand, from my face, and it just has a residue anytime I touch it. So that's telling me that this wig is due for a wash. So your first step in washing a wig is you want to detangle it. So grab your wide tooth comb and you're gonna start at the bottom and work your way up, gently tangling the piece. We don't wanna be washing our wig that's all matted or knotted, and you can totally use a spray-on conditioner for this part if your wig is extra tangled. Now, anytime you're detangling a wig, you always want to start at the bottom and slowly work your way up. If I were to start at the top of this wig and rip through aggressively, I would lose so much hair from this piece. So we really want to be gentle anytime we're brushing, combing, or manipulating the hair. Oh, this wig feels so gross. I've worn this hat fall wig so much and it feels so gross. It has such a coating over the hair from me wearing it. So some people like to wash their wigs in a basin of water. I personally like to do it in the sink. Some people go for the bathtub. It's really personal preference on what you want to use. Today's method of washing my wigs though is gonna be called the dip method. It's where you dip the hair in and out of the water to get it clean. So you're gonna start by grabbing your sink or a basin of water and just filling it up with cold water. Now today I'm gonna be using the Detangling Oil Shampoo. I really like this line because it's very, very hydrating. And we're gonna be adding about 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons full into my water. I'm gonna agitate the water to really distribute that soap. So let's start with my everyday wig. So this is a wig from Silk or Lace. It has a hand-tied top on it. and wefted sides. So a little bit of things to notice about this wig is that its most fragile or most delicate part is gonna be the top of the wig, or that hand-tied portion. So we wanna be very, very careful with that whenever we're washing this wig. So whenever you're washing a wig, you wanna hold it really carefully. So this is the top of my wig right here. I'm gonna slip my hand in, hold it flat like this with my thumb on top, and gently dip the wig in and out of the water. And I wanna make sure I saturate all of the hair as I'm doing this. You'll notice as I press the hair down into the water, I then squeeze the remainder out. And I'm gonna do this several times over and over until I feel the wig is clean. Now, it's totally normal after you wash your wig to see that the water has turned murky, or you may even have some color residue left over. Don't be alarmed, totally normal.
That's so good to hear.
So the next step is you wanna make sure that you clean your lace. So I like to flip my wig inside out like this to where that lace front is showing. Now, if there's a lot of makeup or a lot of residue on this, you can use a facial cleanser that also removes makeup. I've seen people use micellar water with a Q-tip in this area. Sometimes I can get away with just using my shampoo. You know, my lace today, it doesn't look very discolored. It doesn't look like there's a lot of makeup on it. So I'm just gonna use my shampoo water that's in my sink and gently rub on that lace just to cleanse it and make sure there's no remaining oils or makeup left on that lace. And then I'm gonna gently flip that wig to where it's back the right side out. Okay, once I rinse that excess water, I'm gonna put it there on my counter, and we will move on to my hat fall wig. So this wig, it doesn't have anything on the top, so I don't have to be as delicate with this wig. It's pretty durable since it's a hat fall wig, but I'm still gonna use that same motion to hold it when I'm dipping it in and out of the water. Now this water doesn't look very dirty. If it was super dirty, I could replace the water, put another teaspoon or two of shampoo in there, but honestly, it doesn't look too bad, so we're gonna use it again. We're just gonna dip this wig in and out of the water. Now, you never wanna soak your human hair wigs. Like I said, those hand-tied portions of the wig are really delicate, and the more we soak it, the more chances are that those knots are gonna loosen over time. So you never wanna be soaking your wig in shampoo water or in conditioner water. Now my water is starting to look a little dirtier. As expected, my hat fall wigs were really, really dirty, so I'm not surprised that they look this gross. So when you're washing a wig, it's important to remember not only are you washing the hair, but you're also washing the cap that the wig came in. So I pay attention to any of the parts inside of it. If you have silicone in there, you're gonna wanna gently rub any of the residue off of that, just making sure that all the fabric that's connected to your wig is completely clean. So this water is really gross, so I am going to drain it, and we're gonna get some new water, because that is so gross. So since the next two wigs that I'm washing are a little bit older and they're looking a little more frizzy, I'm gonna use the JVN Repair and Shampoo and Conditioner on these wigs. So I'm gonna do 2 pumps. Distribute that in the water. Okay, so we've already detangled this wig, and again, I'm gonna hold it by the top like this. And we're just gonna gently dip that in and out of the water to make sure all that hair, and again, the cap of the wig gets really, really clean. Oh, this wig was so gross. Ew. Since this wig was so gross and this water is repulsive, we're gonna do a second wash on this wig. So sometimes if your wigs are really, really dirty, which that one definitely was, you gotta do a few washes just until your water is somewhat clear. Now, keep in mind, if it's a brand new piece and it was just freshly colored, you're gonna have some color runoff whenever you're washing your wig for the first few times. And sometimes that can mimic itself as dirt or, you know, murkiness in your water. So keep that in mind for those newer pieces. But this hat fall wig is probably 2 years old at this point, and I wore it a ton over the last month, so it's probably dirt. Put more of this in there. And I'm just gonna do 1 pump this time. And let's see if we can get this cleaner. Okay, so now this water is looking a lot better. I'm a lot happier with this. I'm gonna do a few more passes just to make sure that it's cleaner. And then we'll move on to our next hat fall wig and see how dirty that one was. Oh my gosh. Let me know in the comments, if you wear wigs, how often do you wash your wigs? I'm curious. So I tend to wash my wigs maybe monthly, sometimes a little bit longer. Just because I have so many different pieces that I rotate through, I don't need to wash them as frequently as I would if I only had 1 or 2. So I go quite a bit of time between wash days. Ew, this is still so gross. Oh my gosh. Well, we're gonna call that good. We're draining that water because I have a feeling this one is gonna be just as gross. All right, let's fill back up our sink. And again, we're gonna use Javion's Repair and Revive shampoo and conditioner. But right now we're just using shampoo. Okay, so let's hold this wig by the top and we're gonna dunk this in and out of the water. And I already have some shedding, totally normal, especially if it's a newer piece. Like I said, anytime you brush your wig, you're gonna have a little bit of shedding. You shouldn't have a ton of shedding though. Overall, when people ask me, you know, do wigs shed like your own natural hair would? They do not. Oh my gosh, it's gross. We're gonna wash it again because it's so dirty. Don't judge me, okay? One of the nice things about wearing wigs is since you don't wash your hair as often, you don't go through hair products as often, which is really nice. Unless you leave your wigs to be as dirty as I did, then you gotta use a lot of products apparently, but fun little fact. Okay, now this is looking so much better. So the tops of these hat fall wigs, these are from the Hustle Co. They have a velvet lining on them, so that way they really stick to your head when you're wearing them with the hat. So I'm just making sure that that's all clean and that there's no sweat or any makeup buildup that's left on that spot. So let's drain that water. That was way less disgusting than the blonde hat fall wig I wore. Now our next step is we're going to rinse the wigs. So I'm gonna start with the first wig we washed today, which was this wefted and hand-tied top. I'm gonna hold it by the top really gently and running it under cool water. I'm just going to disperse it amongst the water and make sure I get all that extra product out of my wig. Okay, there's one down. Let's move on to these. And our last wig, our little short hat fall wig. Let's rinse that one all out. Okay, so now that we have all of our wigs rinsed, the next step is gonna be conditioner. Now, conditioner is a part that, if not done properly, can mess up your wig. So it's really important that when you condition a wig that has hand-tied knots, so remember those hairs that are individually tied in, you do it by dipping the hair in and out of the conditioner and you don't let those hand-tied portions touch the conditioner. So if you think about it, conditioner is a really slippery substance. It can loosen those hand-tied knots on your wig over time. So like I said, you really want to avoid having those hand-tied knots or that hand-tied portion of your wig in the conditioner. You only want to allow that wefted portion or the bottom half of your hair into the conditioner itself. And I'll show you exactly how I do it so that way you don't mess it up at home. So again, I'm gonna fill my sink up with cold water and I'm gonna be adding the Davines Oil Conditioner. Now it is thick and so I grab a little bit. Well, maybe that's a lot. That's probably too much. Okay, we're gonna do less than that. And I'm gonna distribute this conditioner into my sink. So now that my sink is filled with conditioner, I'm gonna be grabbing my wig. And remember, I want to avoid the hand-tied portion, which is this top section of my wig. I don't wanna get that into the conditioner at all. So that hand-tied portion, those knots or those hairs are individually tied and those can loosen over time, thus causing the hair to fall out. So you do not want to, under any circumstance, get that into the conditioner. And for my wig, that hand-tied portion extends down the side of it along the ear area. So I want to be especially careful not to get that in the conditioner. So I'm gonna be holding my wig a little bit differently than I did for my wash. I like holding my wig like this, okay? I'm gonna very gently hold the top portion and I'm gonna hold the back portion, dip my wig into the conditioner water, but only the part that is wefted. And you can see I dip the hair about that much. So about an inch or two from where the hair is connected to the wig itself. And you just want to dip in and out of the water like so. But again, you want to avoid the part that is hand tied. Okay, so now that I have dipped that in and out, I'm going to squeeze the remainder of that water soaked product out of there. And I'm going to set that wig to the side while I condition my other girlies. So I'm gonna use the same bowl of conditioner because again, it doesn't look that dirty, it doesn't look that gross, so we're gonna use it again. Now this wig I have right here is a hat fall wig. It does not have any hand-tied portions on it that we need to be nervous about because it doesn't have any hair up top. It's meant to be worn with a hat.
Cool hat, by the way.
So because of that, I have to be less careful with this wig when I wash it. It can take a lot. This wig is meant to be an active lifestyle wig. You can wear it with a hat, wear it with a beanie. You're not gonna damage that delicate lace. So this one I'm less careful with. I'm just gonna dip it in and out of the water. I'm gonna squeeze that excess product out of there. All right, my next one is also a hat fall. And this wig has a curly texture to it and it tends to tangle a little worse than some of my other wigs. And I see some tangles right there. I see a pretty big one actually right there. And so I'm gonna take just a smidge of conditioner and work it through that spot so I can hopefully detangle that without losing any hairs. So we got that all worked through. There's still a few tangles, but not nearly as bad as it was when we first started. Ooh, she's looking so pretty. Okay, what did I do? I've not done this one. You can tell because it's not nearly as shiny as this last one. Ooh, I lost some hair. Oh no, it just went down the drain. That's probably not good. Let's get some more conditioner in here. And we're gonna dip this wig in and out. Now this is a hat fall wig, so again, I don't have to be careful of knots or any hand-tied areas on this. This entire wig is wefted, and so it can take more of a beating than those wigs that are hand-tied. Oh, I hate how these ones tangle so worse. I don't know why they do. I look like a hunchback.
A little bit.
There we go. Let's dip this in and out a few more times. Good news, you're almost done washing your wigs. Okay, so now that we've washed all our wigs, we conditioned all our wigs, we detangled all our wigs, now we're gonna rinse them, dry them off, and hang them up to dry overnight. Now, some people like to style their wigs or blow dry them. I personally like to air dry them. All of my wigs air dry really straight, and so I don't have any problem with like textures or anything like that. But personally, I find the less heat I can put on my wigs, the longer they're gonna last me, so that's my personal preference. Other people wanna put their wig on and immediately blow dry it and style it. It's all personal preference of what you wanna do. So we're gonna grab cold water and we're gonna rinse the hair. All right, after we give it one final good rinse, I like to squeeze out all of that excess water, the most I can. All right, so we're gonna grab our towel, and once we have, oh wait, nope, that's not the one I dried. This is the one I dried. You're gonna grab your towel and your wig that you just rinsed, and you're gonna take it and roll up your towel and your wig like a nice little burrito, and you just wanna squeeze any of that excess water. I'm not twisting or anything, I'm just applying some pressure just to squeeze that excess water out of the hair itself. Unwrap my little burrito present, and then I'm gonna gently comb the wig. Yay! Wig number 1 is washed. Woo! Okay, now 3 more to go. All right, let's hang this wig up. So grab your travel wig stand. Gonna place this wig on there and let it air dry. Next wig. This girly, so let's rinse her. So because I've been having a little more issue with frizz and humidity with this wig, I'm gonna go ahead and lay it on my counter. And I have this, let's see, it's the Amika Smooth Over Frizz Fighting Treatment. We're gonna go ahead and put this on there, see if it helps. So it looks like it is a 60-second at-home treatment that reduces frizz and blocks humidity while boosting shine and delivering healthier looking hair, which is exactly what this wig needs right now. Since it is one of my oldest wigs, it's starting to look a little more dull and a little less lifelike. So let's apply this and see if we can get her looking a little bit better. So we're gonna let that one sit. Let's do the other one. Surely it won't hurt it to sit a little bit longer, right?
Let's hope so.
Surely that won't hurt, because I wanna do the same treatment on this wig as well. These wigs are basically carbon copies of each other, just different colors. So I want to do the same frizz treatment on this one because, again, I have issues with this wig being a little more frizzy and lacking that shine and health to it. It's one of my oldest wigs, and so it's starting just to show some wear and tear, which is normal. Okay, so it said to squeeze out excess water, and I'm going to lay it cap side up, so that means it's open, and apply my treatment, and just comb that through, making sure to get the sides of the hair in there as well. Okay, and let's set a 60-second timer and see what we're working with afterwards. Alexa, set a 60-second timer.
1 minute, starting now.
Set 1 minute. All right, so let's rinse this. Ooh, it feels really soft. Okay. Alrighty. We're gonna pretend I put that on a wig stand. The rest of mine are not with me at the moment. Rinse this one. So my last wig I'm gonna rinse is my silk or lace wig. This one again has the hand tied top, so I'm just gonna be really careful whenever I hold it. I don't want to aggressively grip on it or anything like that. And we're gonna rinse any of that extra conditioner out of the wig. Look at that. Is that not crazy how realistic that looks? If you want a super realistic wig and hairline and part line's very important to you, shop at Silver Lace. Theirs are incredible. Okay, I'm gonna use the same Amika Smooth Over Frizz Fighting treatment on this wig as well. And I'm gonna be careful, even though this isn't a conditioner, I don't wanna get it anywhere close to those hand-tied knots, so I'm gonna be careful not to apply it directly to the top of the wig. And then with any product left over on my hands, I'll apply it to that top section. Okay, I'm gonna let this sit for a minute. I got another wig stand. Isn't this one so fun? I bedazzled it, but I only got halfway done. All right. And again, holding that wig by the top like this, I'm just gonna squeeze out any of that excess water. And I'm gonna grab my towel. This time I'm gonna lay it down on my counter because it's a little bit easier to dry your wig off that way. Make sure all of that excess water I can get out is out of my wig. That just makes it easier for it to dry. Put it on here and roll your wig up like a burrito. Yay! My wig is freshly washed. Okay, a bonus tip for you, whenever washing a human hair wig, I like to go ahead and put it on and make sure that it is parted exactly where I want it to be dried in. So it feels super, super weird to put it on because it's all wet. But I wanna make sure that the hair is parted in the exact place I want it parted at. And it's a lot easier to part your wig when it's wet than to change the part once it's dried. So I'm going to make this wig into a middle part. Make sure my side tabs are even. Okay. And is that a middle part? Kinda? Maybe? Okay, so now I have that reparted and I'm gonna go ahead and take my wig off and let it air dry on my lovely little bedazzled wig stand. It's just more fun that way, I feel like. Now, typically when you're washing a human hair wig and letting it air dry like this, it's gonna take at least overnight, I say, for it to dry completely. Sometimes you'll have a little bit more trouble if it's a longer piece. You'll need a little bit longer to let it air dry, but just keep that in mind if you're needing to wear your wig the next day. Maybe wash it in the earlier afternoon so that way it's dry by the time you need to wear it the next morning. Well, thank you for washing my wigs with me. If you have any other questions, make sure to drop them below. Next, we will go over how to wash a synthetic wig as you do it totally different than a human hair wig. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can be friends and give this video a huge thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye.